Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator. Today with Pillar Loves Tabletop Games. Today's episode is 5 Tribes, Djinns of Naqala. All games have the most points at the end, which you'll get through your leftover money, Viziers, Elders, Djinn, and the palm trees and palaces on the tiles that you control with your camels. As part of the setup for the game, the various tiles that make up the Sultanate will be shuffled and dealt out into a 5-row, 6-column rectangle. And then all the various meeples will be put into this bag, mixed up, and dealt 3 at a time each tile. The market row will be dealt out with 9 cards. Make it a point to know what the front of the line is for it, because that does matter. The Djinns will be dealt out in a group of 3. Again, front of the line. Here. Every player will get 8 camels, unless you're playing the 2-player game. And 1 little bid marker. Again, unless you're playing the 2-player game. If you're playing the 2-player game, you'll have 3 additional camels and 1 extra bid marker. And you're limited to playing blue and pink. Every player will start with 50 coins. 5 ones and the rest in 5s. Make change if you need it. Consolidate if necessary. Hopefully you don't need more money before the game's over too quickly. And then the player markers will be randomly dropped onto the bid order board. Starting with the first player, they will bid for turn order. Each player will bid anywhere from 0 to 18. You place where you think you want to go in the turn order. Maybe you just want to save your money and you're okay with going last. Maybe you want to be absolutely sure you're going first. You place where you think you're going to go, where you need to go, and you spend that much money in the bank. If you choose to bid 0, any subsequent bids of 0 by anyone else will put you further down the line. So the sooner you bid 0, the more likely you're going last. Alright. Black will go ahead and pay the 8. Normally the money is kept face down, but for the purposes of my paying attention to what everyone's finances are, I'm going to keep them face up. And then we'll have the actual turn order. Make sure I'm doing that part right, because it might actually make a difference. So these aren't actually moved there yet. It will matter later, though. Alright, so black will take the first turn. And then going first, we'll do the following things. You'll move meeples. So if you've ever played Naqala, it's going to feel very familiar. You're going to pick up 1 set, and then choose another tile and move to it and drop 1 down and then keep moving. You cannot go back to where you immediately came from, and the last meeple you drop has to match the color of a meeple that's in that destination. So here, with white, yellow, and blue in my hand, I have to go 3 spaces away. So that opens up here. That opens up over here. It opens up over here. It opens up over here. I got options. So let's just say we'll drop blue, then yellow, and then white. They suggest like laying them on their side in case you think you're going to need to like back up at all. Alright. The last color you drop, plus any of that color that are there, you take. And that determines your tribe action. If you remove the last meeple on a tile, you place your camel there, you are in control of that space. You'll have that many points at the end. It is entirely possible that other people move their meeples and drop them off in your space. If someone else removes that last meeple again, they do not get to take control of it. Alright. So, first thing we do is we do the tribe's actions. Yellow are the viziers. They go in front of you, they're worth a point on their own, and every person you have more viziers than at the end of the game is an extra 10. Elders. They're worth 2 victory points each. They can also be used here, other places, towards summoning the Djinns. Which is what I aim to do here in a minute. Green. Merchants. You will take that many cards from the front of the market row. They're both items and fakirs. Builders. Place your builders in the bag. And score based on where you end up and what's surrounding it. So let's do another move here. Let's say they move this here, and the last person they drop off is here. So they're going to get 3 builders worth of the blue value tiles that it is on and surrounding it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Times 1, 2, 3 is 15. If you have fakir cards, you can discard those to increase your multiplier by 1. And you will get that in the form of the coins. And finally, assassins. Your range for an assassination is the number of assassins plus any fakir cards you spend. And you can kill a single meeple in that range. So let's say this, we move this group and the assassin's the last one here. That gives me a 3 hex or 3 tile range to kill any one meeple and send it to the bag. It is entirely possible to kill the last meeple on a tile and take control of it that way. In fact, it's a very viable strategy to keep in mind. Once you've done your tribal action, you do the tiles action. If it has a red arrow, you must do it. Palm trees get put out. Palaces get put out. There is a limit of 10 palaces and 12 palm trees. Once they are out, they are out. They will add points to the tile, whoever controls it. Something to keep in mind is you might want to think about where you're emptying stuff out. Now there's a thought. If we empty out the tile from actually moving, let's see here. That's something I didn't think about. So you don't take control of the tile by simply moving the stuff off of it at first. You have to move there and then remove the last one of that color to claim the tile, which is going to lead to some interesting maneuvers of setting things up so that you pass through a tile with one tribe and then try to hit it next turn with another one of that tribe to empty it out. So yeah. Tile actions, we already did the palm trees and the palace. Small market, you'll notice they'll have a 3 coin and a 1/3. You'll spend 3 of your coins, you'll look at the first 3 cards in the line, and buy one of them. If you chose to do the merchant power this turn, know that this row is not refreshed until cleanup phase. It is entirely possible that you screw yourself out of options on the small market doing it that way. Likewise, there's the 6 2/6. You spend 6 coins, and then out of those first 6 cards, you have 2 options. You want to try to build unique sets of unique items because they're worth more if you can sell them, which we'll get into. And finally, we got sacred places. You spend 2 elders or an elder and a fakir to summon a Djinn. Elder goes back in the bag, fakir is discarded. If it has a special power, you can invoke it now. Djinn are worth points, and their powers are listed on the nice little reference sheet that also has the main rules in the back. For example, Boaz protects your priests and viziers from assassins. What a cool dude. And Marid. Whenever a meeple is dropped on one of your tiles, if you did the move, you get a coin. If someone else did the move, you get 2 coins. So if you can control a bit of a thoroughfare, you can make some extra coins that way. Some powers, like Lamia, will require you to use an elder or a fakir to do their power. Whenever you place the palm tree, you can place it on an adjacent space, which, depending on where you're controlling, gives you a lot of flexibility. After you've done your tile action, you can do a merchandise sale. It is optional, you don't have to do it. But you want sets of unique things. There are 9 unique items, and fakirs cannot be sold. The more items, the more money. Anywhere from 1 to 60 coins. And coins help you win. So if I sold this set of 5, it's 21 coins. It might be worth waiting out a little bit more or not. If you want to improve your bidding situation, it might help. You can always sell like multiple sets of things as long as each set is a set of unique things. So if for some reason I've got all 3 of these, I'm selling them for 1 and then for 1 and then for 1. It's not a very efficient way of making money. Kind of funny that these 3 ended up at the start of the merchandise line. Cleanup. Replenish the visible resources. So anything that got taken out will leave an empty space. Everything else will get pushed forward. And new stuff will fill the empty slots. Same thing with the Djinns. Someone took Boaz, Murray, and allowed me to move forward. And Slower comes out next. Just lets you take the top card of the resource pile by spending a fakir, which is kind of funny if you get another one. Alright. When else can you do Djinn powers? If they're not already mentioned. Would it be when you're doing the tribal action for the elders? That's a good question. Let's see. Once per turn. Only during the turn of the player. So at some point during your turn, if you have a Djinn that gives you a once per turn power, you can use their power. So anywhere before the cleanup phase. Alright. So everything's been replenished. It goes to the next player turn. They do all their stuff. And eventually we'll get to the end of the round. And the board state will be a wildly different situation. Some people might be able to set up control already. Some people might already have a hand of merchandise or a Djinn to make use of. At some point, the end of the game is going to be triggered from one of two things. When a person places their last camel, that triggers the end of the game. Everyone will take their final turn for this round, and then it'll go to scoring. It is entirely possible that the board state is such that no legal moves are possible. Early on, there's going to be a ton of potential moves. But as the board gets cleared out more and more, it's going to limit moves completely to the point that there may just be one last move to make, and then nothing can happen that would change anything. Because you have to be able to drop the last member in a tile with another of the same tribe. In which case, everyone who still has turns left will finish it out. And we'll go to scoring. Your remaining coins are points. Every tile you control with a palace or a palm tree is worth 5 extra points or 3 extra points. Controlling the tile in general is worth the tile's points. The Djinns you've collected are worth points. Every Vizier you still have is worth 2 points. Or every Elder is worth 2 points. Every Vizier is worth 1 point. And for every opponent that you have more Viziers than, that's an additional 10 points. And you can take that in the form of coins to keep track of, or you can use this nice little score sheet that the game provides you a ton of. And the most points wins. There is currently no tiebreaker. It will be interesting figuring out a tiebreaker for this game and seeing how often ties actually happen. So, why do I like this game? Well, it's an interesting approach for sure. Of just utilizing Naqala's systems for uh, for a board game like this is really creative. The idea of the water falling from your hand kind of game, of picking things up and things dropping one at a time. And it's just this kind of flavorfulness of, yeah, these are the people that get you stuff. These are the people that like the fancy locations and help with it. These are the guys that kill shit. These are more powerful if you have more than anyone else. These are just points on their own, or how you get your Djinns. So yeah, between the strategy and the flavor, I really like exploring this game. It's definitely a good one for Tuesday night. My only regret is that it's only 4 players, but I would imagine that was probably the best for the length of the game and overall strategy. It also means that if there's a situation of no one else really wants to go first, someone's gonna be paying one period. But with 5, they'd have to pay 3. It'd be an interesting thing to think about. So if you're wondering why I'm resetting the game, I'm gonna do the first 3 rounds for this one because I think it's cool, and I want to show how wild the board state's gonna swing after like 2-3 rounds of players moving things, and the kind of powers that get unleashed with all the Djinns that can come out, and how that changes strategies. Yeah. 5 tribes. Have fun getting a copy of this game. Hopefully there's still plenty of them available. That's part of why I like Days of Wonder. That they did pretty good runs for their stuff. Yeah. Um, 5 tribes. Check it out. Have fun. Thank you very much for watching. This is Pillar Nexus, and I'll see you next time.